A very good evening to everyone. Hope you had a wonderful day so far, and looks like clearly you are having a wonderful day after this deck as well. So don't worry, it'll be a short 20-ish minute presentation from my side. And because I know we are eagerly waiting for the band stuff as well, don't worry, I am not the one who is playing. That's a different team. Okay. So those of you who don't know me, my name is Ayush. I am part of the Central Growth Marketing team. I lead some of the central capabilities like CRM, contact center, digital marketing, and etc. Now the topic that we are here today for, what you can see is spam control. This is an update on a previous topic that a few weeks back, Vikram had covered on the very same stage, that as a company, when we make out so many calls, messages, we really need to have a very strong vision on spamming. What is the right vision? What is the right amount of messages and call that Vikram shared? So that's an update on it, what all progress we have made so far. So a very quick agenda for the next 20 minutes. We'll do a 5-minute recap of what was covered. Then we simply talk about what are the results, how we've reduced some of the calls, what has led to it, what will lead it to a further improvement. And then we quickly roll out a form to all the Autonauts where we ask for open feedback from all of you. Okay, we'll quickly dive into the recap. And when we did the last town hall, we floated a quick survey to all the Autonauts where we wanted your opinion on what you have to say on our strategy when you get a lot of calls. So almost 80% of the Autonauts themselves claimed that they have been told by friends and family that yaar call bahut karte ho yaar aap log. You get a lot of calls from Cast 24. And almost 80% again said that yes, the vision and strategy need to change. And this is primarily because the world has changed in the last 10 years. Back in 2015, when we started the company, there were only 10 crore people using WhatsApp. And today we have an active 60 crore people using WhatsApp in India. And the way we reach out to our friends and family has changed. So of course, there's a serious need to change. Almost 7 out of 10 people said that their preferred mode of conversation would be WhatsApp first and not a direct call. So linking to that, we talked about 3 problem statements that Vikram talked about in the last town hall. Number 1, that I said, too many calls. We made 70 lakh calls 4 months back on a monthly level across India. Almost more than 200 folks every month, customers reach out to us through social media platforms or through inbound calls and raise a D&D complaint that they're getting a lot of calls from Cast 24. Clearly, this is not aligned to our vision of loving the customer. That's our core value, right? So clearly, if 200 people are escalating to us, that's frustration and not love at all. Now, the second problem statement was too many WhatsApp messages, which at times are confusing because they are coming from different handles. So we ran through the entire WhatsApp communications of Cast 24 and we realized almost 20 plus active handles we had. So this was another challenge which was confusing and irritating for a lot of customers. And the last problem statement was that when multiple team reaches out to the customer, they are not talking to each other in a nutshell. Basically, there's no handoff and the customer has to share his requirements or problem statement from the scratch. So now, we'll quickly move on to the next section, which is where we'll show some results, what we have moved and what we plan to do further. On the first problem statement of too many calls, we'll start with the data of the number of calls directly. Now, how do you consume it? Is the blue bar that you see is the number of total call attempts made by the entire India team of Cast 24, which was 73 lakhs back in 4 months back in August, which fortunately has come down to 61 lakh in the last month. And we have a clear vision of taking it down to a 55 and a 51 lakh. And this red line that you see is the average number of calls that per customer that we were doing, which has come down from almost close to 5 to a 4. Now, yes, we have moved good 15-16% in the last 4 months. We've made some progress, but this is a lot from the top of the funnel calling, which basically means when we are calling the customer for lead generation, the marketing calls that we do. But a lot of it has to, a lot of further work has to be done on the further funnel calling, where the post-inspection calling, post-booking calling, how can we reduce some of the spamming there with zero loss of business? So, I mean, combine this two, good 5 to 10 lakh is a saving for these two. So, there are further further things, activities that are planned, which will save a lot of money and will give us growth. So, top 3 contributors for that 13 lakh number of calls that you saw on the previous slide were, number 1, there was calling happening on the old data of Cars24, which we called as Aadhaar data. There were more than 13 lakh calls which went out in the month of August. And last month we've made 9 lakh, and this month we have a clear visibility of closing it at around 5 lakh. And this has been done by sheer cohort optimization. We will basically call after checking all the intents that the customer has given in the past. And second, across our contact centers, so we have more than close to 300 odd people who call on behalf of us. They're part of the contact center operations, and there, when a customer was not getting connected, we used to reattempt the customer. So now we've reduced the reattempts, and we have moved to a message-based strategy that we will send out a message that said, we were calling you, and if you want a call back from us, click here. So we have reduced the number of attempts from almost 6 to 2 to 3. That has led from a drop of 19 lakh calls to a 13 lakh calls. And this has come across with almost no business loss. So this is while maintaining the right customer experience with no business loss. And the third one is our DSAs, how the DSAs used to reach out. So what our DSA is, a direct selling agent. These are, I'm audible guys, just double check from the back. There was a feedback, okay. Is it better now? Okay, thank you so much. So, okay, coming to the third part, the direct selling agents who were calling on behalf of Cars24, that you would have heard for your friends and family say that we get a call that, okay, are you interested in selling your car out of nowhere? So that is our direct selling agents. They have also changed the strategy in the way they call. So that has reduced from a 12 lakh call to a 9 lakh call. And as we speak, in this month, December, the team who manages DSA is launching an in-house panel through which all the data that they will be calling will be scrubbed, so that there is no D&D calling. A person who has said that I don't have a car, don't call me, he will not be called. And by the end of this month, we have an aim for 100% movement of DSA to the in-house system. That should solve for a lot of spamming issues. Now, what will take us to take this number further down from 60 lakh and again go customer backward? So another thing promised in the last town hall was we will give customer the control. When I say I mean giving customer the control, it means the customer should have an option on the app that, okay, I'll play it again. On the app itself, that whether we can stop all the calls, SMS, WhatsApp going out to the customer in case he wants to. So I'm happy to announce in the last week, we have rolled out the first phase of notification management on our app, where customers can stop calls, messages, and that is integrated to all our marketing channels. And in the next phase, we are going one step ahead. We will ask the customer his preferred mode of communication, his preferred time of the day when he wants a call, and the day of the week. And that is where the real magic of experience as well as growth lies. Imagine as a sales agent, you know that this is the particular customer who is okay to get a call only in the evening. Then wouldn't the customer be much more interested in talking to us, right? So that will launch in phase 2 soon. Now another topic which again touches a lot of Autonauts directly is how we approach our customers. So almost 60 to 70% of the organization, Cars24, directly or indirectly, are in customer facing role, or your teams are in customer facing role. Hence, it's very important that we as an organization align on the right strategy on how we approach a customer. So just imagine, if you reach out to the customer just like you reach out to any senior colleague. For a sales team, customer is nothing but a senior guy, right? So let's do a quick show of hands, guys, here. Tell me, if you are supposed to reach out to your manager or any senior within the company, would you call them directly? How many of you will call them directly if you want to reach out to a senior in the office? Can I have a show of hands? I see some 5-6%. Now, can I have a show of hand on the number of people who will either Slack him or message him or WhatsApp him on any channel before reaching out? Okay, I think there are some 7-8x more than hands out of the total people who voted, which clearly means that there is a larger preference if you're reaching out to a senior, or for that matter at times our friends, that we want to message him first. So if you read the message on the right side, imagine if all of us, as say a sales team, reach out to the customer with a simple message that, sir, I am Ayush, I am your buddy from Cash24, and how would you want to talk? You can talk right now on this chat, or you can call me, or you can ask me to call me, you can ask to call later. Will it not beautifully impact our contact rates? So here the ask is to move away from our old school thinking of C3A on a daily level, which a lot of you probably in the sales team can connect with, to move to a 1W, 1C. We message the customer first, then maybe even if it does not reply, we call them. And then we ask for the right time. And then maybe call them the next day. That is the right cooling off. So nobody wants a back-to-back 4 or 5 calls, right? That is what we want to stop. So hence, as a group, it's very important we align. So we've done some pilots and which we have resulted in successful results as well. So there are two kinds of calling. One is the marketing call, which is for lead generation. There we have successfully executed a couple of pilots with no loss of business. So on the retail side of the world, there are some channels called ATMs and classifieds where we were proactively calling when the lead was coming. And what we did, we stopped calling and we did messaging first. So in both the pilots, we can see very promising results that with almost no loss of business, we could actually reduce the number of calls. And very similar story we are launching on the sales side of the world as well. Of course, in the sales world, it will take time, right? But if we stick to the idea that we have to go customer backward, how we treat our friends, family, senior colleagues, that will definitely have good results in terms of numbers as well as experience. Now there also we have started a pilot in Tamil Nadu with the retail RA business where they are going with higher cooling off period, customer chat first. And I promise that in the coming months, we will ensure that any calling panel that any of the Autonaut is using across Cash24 will have an in-house, will have an official chat solution to it. So this chat solution could be something like the C2B team can connect that in the retail panel, they have a Picky Assist solution where they can chat with the customer. We will ensure that we have an official chat tool linked to all our panels. Now, double click on just while we are doing some of the pilots, we will also rigorously monitor and share with the regional leaders and everyone that what are the kind of spam numbers that we are looking at each Autonaut level. So some of the cases we have seen very starkly high numbers. Like if you see just 2 columns, one is the attempt per users done by a certain Autonaut, and what is the number of share of unassisted calls, which means where the customer did not talk to us. So if these are too high, that is a big red flag. So hence we will proactively share these numbers as well to help us reduce spamming while we are changing the DNA. So if you are one of the Autonauts who's already doing it, there is a section where you can report, plus also you should stop doing that and go customer backward, where you already have a WhatsApp feature. Okay, moving on to the next problem statement that we talked about is too many WhatsApp from too many handles. So here, in the last 2 months, we have closed more than 7 WhatsApp handles. We've merged them with the main Cash24 handle so that it's not confusing anymore for the customer. Something on the right side that you can look as a customer. If earlier you were receiving from 5 different handles, you will probably today get only from 1. Second, setting very clear guardrails for all the different teams who reach out on WhatsApp as for promotional messages. all of you would have got a lot of promotional WhatsApp messages these days, right? From a lot of brands. So we are setting some very clear guardrails on the engagement rate so that that channel of WhatsApp is meant only for a lot of conversations. So you will see a lot of quick reply buttons that you can see here in this image on the right side. For example, on the message, where the first message is a promotional message where you have a button to ask the customer to talk to us, and then there is a Gen AI bot talking to the customer. Isn't that the best way to reach out to the customer and ask him to converse on the WhatsApp itself, instead of just making it a channel where there are cold messages going out? Like for example, SMS. Most of us never check our SMS, right? A lot of promotional SMSs come. So we don't want to make WhatsApp handles just like SMS. And the last part on the WhatsApp bit is we have also launched the mandatory opt-out option in all our messages so that if a customer is very clear that he is not wanting to get a buy message or a sell message, he can opt out at all times. For all the cross-sell and the main sell that we do, we've made it as a mandatory thumb rule to get this button. The last problem statement, where there was no handoffs between the team when they were reaching out to the customer, due to which the customer had to explain the entire issue. Happy to share that the retail LMS, the Pulse that is going live for the retail business in January, will have a Gen AI based feature, which you can see on the screen, where we will capture all the calls that have happened with the CAs, with the call center teams and everyone. And we'll take a summary of it, plus we will marry it with the user's engagement on the app. Then we will generate a Gen AI summary. For example, here, the sales agent can very easily see that he's a determined buyer, he's a Hyundai loyalist, and when he clicks on a determined buyer, he can see very contextualized lines. For example, here, I'm not sure if you can see, it says that the buyer wants to buy this car in just 20 days because he has his parents' anniversary, and this is a gift. Now, imagine if as a sales guy, you call with such a contextualized opening, sir, that I know that you're looking for a Hyundai car and it's a gift for your family. How can I help you? Wouldn't you connect at a much better level? So this is, again, a mix of customer delight as well as growth. Again, a very similar pilot going out in the NCR region on the C2B business, where there is a Gen AI summary of the calls that have happened with the RA so far. Similar-ish approach where there is a complete summary of what is the price that the customer was asking for, what he has agreed for. It becomes so much easier to just consume in 2 to 3 lines for the sales team. Now with all said, the last phase that I talked about, will roll out a form for all the Autonauts where we will ask you for feedback on any kind of spam that you want to report, either being done by yourself or by your teams, or if you happen to see any colleague within Cast24 or from outside Cast24, if you got any feedback. So this form will have all kind of spam reportings, like the number is not whitelisted on Truecaller. For example, if you think that you should not be calling 10 times a customer, but somebody in your team is telling you to call them. So hence it's an anonymous form. I would want each of you to, any of you who is in the directly customer facing role, to take a screenshot, take a photo, you will get the deck as well, to reach out through us by scanning this code and share your honest feedback to make it a better place. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys, for this update. We'll come back with another update in March. Thank you.